and still young enough to make his mark. Here's what happened.
James Docherty from Edinburgh, 7 wins out of 7 so far for him, though he has been on the floor 3 times. He's in the green trunks here, in with John Foster from Nottingham in the black, who calls himself the Shadow Sniper. Some nickname that, isn't it?
It's a good nickname. You've got to be able to fight with him.
Not in the first team, though, Shadow Sniper. See how he does here, and how good is Docherty. Has been on the floor 3 times in those 7 wins. Tall and rangy. Looks like he should be quite useful with his jab. Foster has won 6 out of 11 so far. His career just levelling out after a good start. He's lost his last 3, including 1 defeat in the first round against the Swede in Sheffield in February. The 2 defensive limitations exposed that night.
Well, first of all, we wanted to get into this fight just to try and build his confidence up, because obviously his confidence is very low.
So Docherty definitely starting as the favourite here, looking for the right uppercut there. Docherty in those green trunks with his back to you at the moment. Good body shot from Docherty. Left hook to the body. Bit tentative early on, and maybe understandably, Foster.
Well, Docherty is starting the better behind his jab, just not allowing Foster to get any punches off.
That's good work with the left jab. He's pretty rangy. You have to take the left hook there, Docherty.
Well, that's where Foster will always have a chance. Foster can punch a little bit, and with Docherty being on the floor 3 of 7 fights, you wonder about his vulnerability.
Maybe some hope there for Foster. But Docherty making much the more confident start of the 2 in this first round. That's a good right hand from Foster, mind you. Had 1 or 2 little successes, and he needs that, needs something that might just make a dent in Docherty.
Well, if he starts to feel he can get close, that will help Foster.
Bit of damage by the left eye of Docherty.
Yes, I was just going to say there's a cut opened up on the left eye, and
he's just dabbing away at that, so that's some unscheduled problem for Docherty. It was all going pretty well for him. And how bad is that cut? We can't see at the moment with the towel there, but it might be a bit of a tricky one, that, and it's early in the fight too.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't have wanted that so early in the fight. He's also got damage to the nose, so although he didn't land with a great deal, Foster, he did have an impact on Docherty.
Benny King, the cut man, in the corner there. Looks like it might be to the side of the eye, but we need to verify that.
Well, there's a little chopping right hand went in there. It could well have happened at that point. It was just a little dab you saw in the clinch.
Well, we mentioned that Foster needed to make a dent. He did more than that. Round 2, due to go 6 this. Green trunks of James Docherty, black of John Foster from Nottingham, who starts off a lot more confident in this round and makes a target now of that left eye, and blood too flowing pretty freely from the nose of Docherty. This is a good little test for him here. He has to keep his composure with this cut problem. He's shown in the past, getting off the floor to win, that he has plenty of heart. But here's another problem.
Well, it's always a worry for a novice fighter when you get a cut, how the fighter's going to react. If he's going to panic, and really that's a time where he has to keep cool.
It's good work, mind you, from Docherty there. mixing up hooks and jabs.
Well, it's more pressure now from Foster, not really landing that cleanly, but there's a decent couple of punches went in there from him.
Docherty found a very good left hook, mind you, in there. Well, he's trying to take the initiative, Foster, but finding it hard to do it. As Glenn was saying, the crisper work is coming from Docherty.
Yes, he's a little sharper, he's more accurate with his punches.
That's a nice shot from Docherty. He's quite accurate.
Well, he's keeping his cool quite well as Foster tries to adopt more pressure in this round. And Docherty just picking him off as he comes in.
Definitely the superior technician of the two. Foster looking to bustle him up somehow, but not really succeeding in doing that for my money.
No, he's putting on the physical pressure without actually landing the cleaner punches.
Soon there'll be more time for them to work on that cut, which doesn't look as if it's going to be a real problem at the moment anyway for Docherty.
Well, the jab working well there from Docherty, some nice punches, just catching Foster rather freely.
Something of an arm puncher by the look of it, Foster. Crowding his own work too. Well, an interesting second round in which Foster tried to put the pressure on Docherty, but didn't really manage to do it very effectively.
Yes, he was doing the right sort of thing. Just a problem getting his punches off, getting them off cleanly, Foster. He was crowding his work, he was getting close, but he wasn't getting good punches on. And you can see the jab, very superior. Docherty, 25-7 in round two. That was a good punch for him.
Docherty, in his last fight, stopped the fading Dean Nicholas of South Shields in 6 rounds, so his confidence high. But just look at that face, it's a real mess.
Nice left hook there, in close from Docherty. Nice, clean, sharp punch. And they're just keeping us cool under a bit of pressure, picking the better punches of the two.
Really jolting back the head of Foster there. Third round. Foster with his back to you in the black trunks, the green of the unbeaten 100% record man James Docherty of Edinburgh. 7 wins out of 7, 2 inside schedule, so he's obviously not a big puncher. It's just making Foster look a little bit one-dimensional as well here. It's a big right hand from Docherty too. Not enough head movement from Foster, making him a pretty easy target for these jabs.
Yes, that's the problem with Foster. He's very straight up. He needs to just sway from side to side, just get a little bit of rhythm and movement into his work. He's being caught with the jab all the time.
It's something general, that, isn't it, about the whole European style. You tend to get less head movement than the Americans, who like to roll from the waist more.
Yes, they look for a rhythm a lot more, and it's a lot better, just to get that rhythm in your work.
Good right uppercut on the inside from Docherty. Found that punch well from close in.
Well, he's gamely trying to come forward and trying to throw punches, Foster, but he just, he's not getting them clean enough.
Just doesn't look any real snap at the moment in Foster's punches. And he gets hit by a pretty big looking right hand from Docherty, and again, but not too much dynamite in those Docherty punches either, because otherwise I think Foster might have gone down from one of them. It was a real cracking shot, landed flush.
You would think so. You'd think if he had much power he would have been able to put him down, because he really did land twice flush on the chin.
Foster being outboxed, coming forward on tram lines. You never know, he just might be able to ruffle Docherty as this goes on.
Well, he looks physically, he looks the stronger Foster. You know, he can come forward, but you know, he's getting hit too much as he does come forward.
Looking a bit disorganized too, slapping a little and not moving too easily on those legs either. Foster shuffling around the ring. Docherty winning all the rounds for me. Green trunks, remember, of Edinburgh's James Docherty. Edinburgh just along the M8 here in central Scotland from the Glasgow area.
Well, is this constant pressure of Foster now starting to take its toll on Docherty? Doesn't look as sharp anymore.
He's landing more now, Foster, and Docherty noticeably more static. He's there to be hit, and he's not keeping Foster off with his jab, which he should be looking to do. His tactics really against this ought to be some lateral movement, use of the jab, and then peppering his man from the outside, but he looks too tired to do that, doesn't he now?
Yes, he does, and now it's Foster who's having the better of the argument.
Can Foster keep it up, mind you? It's a pretty game effort, this, from him. A fighter clearly with bags of heart, because he's taken a lot of punches in the first 3 rounds, but he still keeps on wading forward, even though he looks as if he's treading through treacle at times doing it.
2 good punches there from Docherty. Maybe Foster's starting to tire now.
Oh, he was hurt by that right hand, and another one. Now Docherty knows he's stung him. He springs back to life.
Well, I think the pace of Foster is taking its toll now.
Has Foster punched himself out?
Well, this really is a tough little 6-rounder.
Isn't it?
These two really giving their all in here.
They've completed 4 rounds. It could be 14 looking at the pair of them. Good right hand gets in from Foster. It's pretty attritional stuff, this.
Well, this is all coming down to character, I think. Who wants the win here more? Both of them very tired.
Snappier stuff here from Docherty. Legs looking very shaky of Foster.
Well, Docherty's caught Foster with some very good clean punches. Is there always the more eye-catching of the two?
More accurate, more snappy, though you wouldn't call either of them sledgehammer hitters. That's Docherty's round. I've got him 4 rounds to 1 up now.
Yes, I have it the same. He did very well, showed a lot of character to come through a bad round to then start pulling some good punches out. And there was a right hand that really had Foster rocking backwards. Picking the punches much better, Foster. He's the better schooled of the two.
Docherty, you mean?
Sorry, Docherty. There it is, good right hand over the jab from Docherty. Just keeping the pressure on, as all of a sudden Foster seemed to wilt.
There we are, 181 Docherty, 130 Foster, says the computer, on punches landed so far. So here's the final round of this little welterweight scrap, and it has been a scrap too, with James Docherty from Edinburgh looking here to make it 8 wins out of 8, and a big favourite to do that. He's in a big lead at the moment. Foster, though, so willing and pretty brave too. You can only admire his effort, though. He really does need to do something about his defence, otherwise he won't be going very much further in this business, and he's only 20.
Well, this has been a good matchup between the two, with fortunes often going one way then the other, but I think just the cleaner punching of Docherty telling between the two.
His reach has worked quite well for him as well here. Just wondered in the fourth whether Foster was turning the tide, but Docherty, give him credit, got himself together and landed some good shots in that fifth round, and had Foster tottering once or twice.
Maybe just a second win now for Docherty, just getting the bounce back in his legs.
Two fighters here, and take your hats off to them, trying so hard way down on the undercard.
Well, he's game and he's still trying to push forward, Foster, but he needs to find some clean punches.
Good uppercut there from Docherty. Well, he just hardly knows how to go backwards, this young John Foster. Blood coming from his nose now. He's certainly bearing the scars of the battle. Docherty cut very early in the fight, but that's held up pretty well. Two tired men in there now. Good body shot. Seemed to take something out of Foster from Docherty. Oh, and then another right. His legs did the silly dance. He might go here, Foster. Very late in the contest. Needs to hold on, and he's got enough about him to do that.
But he's very, very tired and hurt there, John Foster.
This is Docherty's fight, barring some very late sensation. Tremendously brave, John Foster, but I'm afraid to say this is an aging fight for him. You don't want to be in too many like that, son. Brave though he was, he holds out his hand, but he's well beaten, well beaten. James Docherty, the winner.
Well, it was a good win from Docherty, the cleaner puncher of the two, brought him through. Just got pressure towards the end, but it was hard work from Foster, but he did look very tired towards the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 fantastic rounds of boxing, referee Vic Laughlin has scored the contest. For Foster, 56 points. For Docherty, 60 points. He's still undefeated. From Edinburgh, James Docherty.
4 rounds to none, with 2 even, was how the referee saw it in Docherty's favour.
John Foster.
Yes, as Ian said, a hard night for the 20-year-old Foster. More aging probably when you're losing fights like that. But Jim, what about Docherty's prospects of making a breakthrough?
Yeah, I liked what I saw tonight, and that was a meaningful fight. I mean, too many easy fights are no good at all to fighters, but that's what you want, an opponent who's good enough to make you work, bring out the best in you. Docherty's entitled to be happy with his night's work. That was a good performance. Room for improvement, of course, but plenty of time to improve.
Briefly, what are the improvements that he needs to start thinking
Well,
about?
just tighten up his defence a little bit, get his combinations going. Just overall improvement, which comes with experience. I mean, he's only a kid too. Plenty of time.
Jackie Townsley was also in action here, yet another of Jim Watt's...
at the moment. We hope to see you back here very soon. Thanks for tonight. Thank you.
And one more prospect in action here tonight, James Docherty from Edinburgh. 9 straight wins at light middleweight, up against Howard Clarke, who you may remember once shared a ring with Fernando Vargas, but it's been all downhill since then. 10 defeats in a row for Howard Clarke. Here's round 3.
Third round of 6, this at light middleweight. Howard Clarke, the, well, veteran campaigner now in those leopard skin shorts. The green of James Docherty, the Scottish prospect. Clarke making Docherty miss an awful lot. I'd like to see a bit more devil from Clarke. I think he's got more ability than he's been showing us of late.
Yes, he has. Just showing showing some of his style there, making Docherty miss well, but it's then that you want to see him come back with punches himself. He's just starting to do that.
He has just settled for being the journeyman a bit of late. That's a good left hand, and he's wobbled him. Then a right. He's in trouble, Docherty, over there, and he's getting caught now. Clarke could take him out. The punch resistance question mark is there again, and in bold type, Docherty in a big crisis here. The referee taking a very close look. Not much coming back, and the referee lets it go on. Terry Cole. Some referees might have stepped in, but Docherty has cleared his head by the look of it.
Clarke was silly there. He turned around and took a good look at the referee. Wanted the referee to stop it. He should have just kept punching.
Tremendous action in round 3, and quite a comeback from James Docherty. Clarke was inviting the referee to stop the fight, but Terry Cole didn't want to know. Great right hand from Docherty, and 2 body shots as well. It's a terrific third round between these two here. He's shown some guts here, Docherty.
He really has, shown that grit, that determination. This is good to fight back when he looked like he was almost going to get stopped.
Well, these two almost fighting themselves to a standstill in this round. Now Clarke looks tired, mouth gaping open, caught by a straight right. And now Docherty's wobbled again by that left hand. One of them's going to go here, but I'm not sure which.
Certainly looks fragile when he gets hit, Docherty, doesn't he? Good left hooks from Clarke.
Yeah, you'd worry about his chin if you were his manager and trainer. That's for certain.
But certainly not his heart.
No, that's brilliant. But he does look like an accident waiting to happen, I'm afraid. Blinking through the pain, Docherty. This 3 minutes must have seemed like about 30 to him. Does seem a very long round.
Well, they're both very tired. They've thrown an awful lot of punches in this round.
Well, Docherty got through it, and he came back very, very well indeed. Had Clarke in a bit of trouble once or twice there, but some referees might have stopped this fight.
Yes, that was good from Clarke, showing he still had some ambition. Hurt Docherty, really kept the attack going. Lots and lots of punches going in. And he looked hurt, looked maybe that he was ready to be stopped, but he made a terrible mistake, Clarke, by inviting the referee in right when he had Docherty hurt.
Look at these punches here. A lot were missing. There it is. He says, are you going to stop it or not? And the referee says, no, I'm not actually.
Well, he just, you've got to keep throwing punches until the referee stops it. It was silly of Clarke to do that, inviting the referee to look. Still some fight in. Clarke comes straight back.
And I think you've got to be fair to the referee and say he probably got that right, because he was throwing leather at that very moment. Here's the 4th round. You wonder what's going to happen next here. Just to remind you, the red-headed man in the green trunks is 24-year-old James Docherty. Looked on the verge of defeat in round 3.
But the promising thing for Clarke here, Clarke knows that he can hurt Docherty.
Can he find the punch to do it again? Good body shots from Docherty. He's got some ability, uses the jab quite well, but I'm afraid there are some worrying signs here as far as his camp are concerned.
too much in a fight. Got to try and keep Clarke on the end of the jab.
Again, those good body shots. Clarke finding the left hook himself. It's a shame from Docherty's point of view. He doesn't have a bit more of a dig himself.
Yes, he needs more of a punch just to keep the likes of Clarke at long range.
Nice right hand in there from Docherty, twice over in fact. And again, mixing it in with body shots. This is good work here from Docherty. Good accuracy too. Not much head movement from Clarke, who's getting hit rather a lot in this fourth round.
Well, he certainly is a gutsy character, James Docherty. He's been hurt, but still keeps throwing punches, still looking to push Clarke back.
Docherty ahead in the fight, you would think. Probably won the first 2 rounds, would have lost the third. And having the better of this session so far.
Yes, he's the busy. Looks the fresher of the two. Nice body shots going in from Docherty.
Well, he's 9 years younger, and that's showing a bit too. But you just get the impression with this James Docherty that any moment, another punch, and his head could be spinning again.
Yes, you'd think so. When he gets caught, he does just tremor a little bit. He likes to go for the body punches, and doing that, you've got to drop your hands a bit, so he needs to be careful.
Had to take a lot in this round, Clarke, and he's looking tired. Pleased to hang on at the end of it. Definitely Docherty's round. Here's the final round of it. And Docherty outworking Howard Clarke most of the way, but in bad trouble in the third. Clarke, I would say, needs a knockout.
Yes, he does. He's got to try and find the punch in the last round, something big. But he's looked very tired the last two.
Well, Howard Clarke only arrived, I reckon, about 40 minutes before he got in the ring tonight. We saw him get out of the car from Birmingham with the other Nobby-Nobs fighters. So it's a tough old schedule, that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. A long old way up here and then just straight in the ring without the best preparation. But he's still trying to throw punches now.
He's just beginning to up the tempo a little here, Clarke, in this last round. He needs to.
Docherty needs to try and keep control in this last round. Can't let Clarke get confidence. Clarke will see the finish line, will want to try and have a big finish.
Good right hand. And then left hook to the body. That's a good combination that Docherty works. And he's rangy. It's good accuracy. It's very hard in there now for Howard Clarke. Ooh, big right hand, cracked home there. Now, I tell you what, if this Docherty had more power, you must think that he'd have stopped Clarke here.
Yes, he's quite sharp, puts his punches together well, quite accurate, but just hasn't got the power.
And these are big ones going in now in this last round. It's a bit sad to see Clarke falling back this far in his career, but I'm afraid that's the story for him now. His losing streak is about to extend to 11 fights unless he does something quite dramatic very late on.
Well, it's good work on the ropes from Docherty, getting some nice shots on. Clarke very, very tired.
I think he has been for the last 3 rounds now. What worries me is how much he's getting hit. I mean, Docherty hasn't been able to miss.
That's right, the defense is poor from Clarke. The hands are down, the punches through the middle are all connecting.
He's been such a good servant to the business. You wouldn't want to see Howard Clarke walk away from this game getting badly hurt somewhere along the line. I think there's a danger that might happen the way things are developing. It's a win for James Docherty. They did it well in the end. He had to come through a rough patch in round 3, and you know that's a measure of a fighter as well. You put a tick against his heart, his guts, his bottle. This is a guy who can come through a bad patch to prevail. I'm a bit worried about his chin, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yes, early on he did look a bit fragile when he got caught, but as he warmed up, he stood up to the punches much better. But that is something to worry about a bit. He doesn't look very strong, but he's just got to get that chin down.
One other question for you. I mean, it's not our job to retire fighters, but I wouldn't want to see Howard Clarke carry on too much longer.
No, you wouldn't. At this level, he's getting hit an awful lot, and really he's a lot better fighter than that. He's a nice guy, and you don't want to see him go on too long.
Hear to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we read out the referee scorecard, referee Terry Cole has insisted you congratulate both boxers. That was 6 fantastic rounds of boxing. And the referee scorecard reads in for Clarke 57 points and for Docherty 59 points. Your winner, he's still undefeated from Edinburgh, Scotland, James Docherty.
3 rounds to 1 with 2 even was how the referee saw it. We had it 5 rounds to 1, Glenn and I, but there you go.
And it is all about winning. What has he shown you tonight, though, Billy?
Well, I think he is a British title prospect. He showed some good movement, body to head. To fight a guy and beat a guy like Clarke, who's had some great experience and has boxed around the world literally. One of his fights in Madison Square Garden. Great prospect.
And will it take Docherty, in terms of confidence, will it give him something else, the fact he's been in with a man like Clarke
yeah,
now?
I think he will. I mean, you know, to fight a man who's fought in Madison Square Garden, one of the meccas of boxing, it will give him such confidence in his next few fights. I think he'll go on to do something with the British title.
Speaking of big occasions, Boxing Gold Tuesday night features a memorable one. The second meeting between Clarke